Welcome aboard, cinephiles. I'm Titan. Today we will watch this fantasy movie. Israel is a circus master making a living. You can only take your own members on tour. In addition to him is a magician in the regiment, and clowns who can manipulate metal. The mighty werewolf Sengyo, the white-haired boy directing insects, and the electrified girl Matilda are available at the end of the performance. The German bombers came uninvited. The originally quiet town instantly turned into hell on the other side. Fascism, which is gradually declining in order to save the defeat, is trying to find someone with special superpowers, and the responsible person is the well-known German circus director Franz. He is a man who can hallucinate through fans and predict future 6-foot pianists. But in the eyes of my brother, who is a senior officer, psychotic emperor's younger brother, he's just a useless piece of trash. While Franz fell on his knees many times to pray and claim after predicting the existence of superhuman beings, he, who was planning to disband the circus, only decided to spend a week underground in grace. At the same time, in the cruelty of war, worrying for Jewish Israel, so he proposed to the members spending money to smuggle to the United States for development. When everyone heard about it, they took out their deposits one after another and looked forward to going to the United States with him. But after waiting for a day in the suburbs, everyone found out that Israel, who took money to do things, did not return as promised. So the furious werewolf thought Israel had already taken the money and run away. Since there is no leader, the 4 people who are at a loss can only go to the city to find a way out. Although except Matilda, the other 3 were quickly captured by the Germans, but they figured out a way and escaped by using supernatural powers to create chaos. After successfully escaping, the 3 met Matilda, available at the suggestion of the werewolf. The 3 decided to go to join Franz, who is recruiting everywhere, but the stubborn Matilda chose to continue waiting for Israel. Without the company of companions, Matilda alone is obviously unable to cope with the situation outside, and that night he was spotted by patrolling German troops and nearly raped by these beasts. Fortunately, under crisis, uncontrollable superpowers protect him again. But he was terrified by the situation in front of him and passed out after running into the woods. In the morning mist the next day, Matilda was discovered by the rebels passing by, but these people who want to help him got his electric shock. Without any choice, everyone can only call Waldo, who lost his hands, and he, with wooden hands, finally carried Matilda into the car. At the same time, the other 3 successfully arrived at Franz's circus. In the circus, the werewolf met a beautiful long-haired girl, and the recognition from her peers also allowed her to regain her confidence. Then the trio gets hot from the rest of the circus. What they didn't expect was the treat. The 3 of them were soon stunned by Franz's cry and shut up. Franz continued to hypnotize himself with fans that night, and following the illusion, Franz sees an iPhone and the horrific scenes of the Nazi defeat on the phone. Shocked, he dropped the phone, but the phone projected more images to surround him. So he can only, in the chaos of the future, find the information he needs. He has a clear goal, fast-locked foursome in the dark. But just when he was about to make contact with the shadow in front of him, all illusions suddenly dissipate, and he also returned to reality. On the other side, Matilda woke up from a coma and received an invitation to join the rebel leader, Hunchback. But the young Matilda didn't want to kill people at all, so after a full meal, he made it clear that he only wanted to find a foster father, Israel. Under the maintenance of the beautiful girl Chesira in the team, Hunchback did not embarrass Matilda, but in the operation to ambush the German army, Matilda saw Israel in the car and suddenly ran towards the escort truck. After discovering his figure, Israel kept persuading him to leave, but helpless Matilda was unwilling to leave fatherly Israel. At first, the Germans prepared to shoot and kill Matilda when he was found, but Cecilia diverted the attention of the Germans, and together with the companions in ambush around, wiped out the lax Germans. It can be seen that the wrong truck driver suddenly drove away. Matilda can only let Israel be taken away by the German army. When returning to camp that night, Hunchback is furious at Matilda's self-assertion, and in order to force Matilda to use superpowers, he didn't even care about Chesira's stop, beating Matilda until Matilda told the truth. Everyone knows he actually killed his mother because of superpowers, and Matilda who was abandoned by the rebels, can only go to the circus alone to find his partners. Reachable Mathilde at the circus, but for breaking into Franz's room, was stunned by Franz, who had been prepared for a long time. Seeing that Mathilde is the prophesied electronic girl, Franz wanted to take advantage of the field marshal watching the performance, announcing this great discovery to his fellow Nazis. With the passionate singing and dancing show over, Franz in uniform also showed the Fantastic Four and forced the horses with caged tigers. Mathilde uses superpowers, but at this time Mathilde not only overcame his fear, but also controlled the electricity in the hand. And the tiger who gradually let down his guard also became a big cat who was captured by him. Seeing my plans being disrupted, distraught Franz, with the lives of the other three, threatened Mathilde. He slipped and fell to the ground under tension, and once again became the laughingstock in the eyes of all the guests. The deeply shocked Franz immediately ordered to burn 4 people to death. Seeing the lives of our partners hanging by a thread, Mathilde finally activates her superpowers, and under the bombardment of huge energy, the thick gate of the bee is bounced hard and knocked Franz, who heard the news, to the ground. After breaking the bank, the foursome used the circus cannon again and flew to safety. And after killing the doctor who abused them, a lone werewolf with the help of a hairy girl brought Israel the white horse chasing the train. At the same time, Franz, awakening from a coma, believed in his own prophecy. He wanted to beg his brother to chase down a few people, but he was reprimanded by his brother again. And compared to the previous resignation, Franz, who fell into madness, decided not to compromise. So he strangled his brother and pretended to be my brother and gave orders to the soldiers. And according to the picture seen in the hallucination, he stood guard at the place where the train passed in advance. At the same time, 4 people looking for Israel attacked the Germans on the train and quickly knocked down the German troops in the carriage. However, countless German troops suddenly appeared as the train approached the battle, and in the face of Franz's danger and persecution, Mathilde was in dilemma. He accidentally wounded a soldier who was trying to shoot, and Israel bravely rushed out and stopped the bullet for Mathilde. At the same time, with the order of the hunchback, countless heroic rebels immediately launched an attack on the German army. At first, the rebels successfully caught the Germans off guard, but the Germans who reacted immediately threw in more heavy weapons and quickly turned the tide. Fierce battles accompanied by tragic sacrifices, countless rebel fighters fell in a pool of blood, and Israel, burdened by misfortune, is dying. Congratulations to Mathilde, seeing that my relatives and friends are being hurt by the German army. The anger in Mathilde's heart finally started to burn, and then he was like a burning sun, appeared in front of hordes of German troops. In the enemy's hail of bullets, Mathilde transformed into a terrifying energy body. But the radiant light is like a bright cloud exuding holy light. And in the violent explosion, this terrible solar wind spreads rapidly and finally wiped out all the enemies on the battlefield. As a new day comes, back to normal, Mathilde on the ashes-strewn hillside saw Franz bereaved. Seeing my lover turn to ashes, desperate, he shot himself. Sengyo nude Mathilde was also found and quickly took off the coat draped over the girl I love. Mathilde can control my superpower. He managed to hug the boy he loved and watched the beautiful scene of the rebels winning. And in the eyes of everyone thanking, the 4 embarked on a journey again. They too will be under the blessing of Israel. Find your own happiness.